Boston Bros is #1 thing, not you're dead wrong. You can catch me doing misbehaving with my products on. It's real boxing talk every time we meet with Ned, the TBE, and Conspiracy G. We bring it to you raw, unbiased, you know the deal. You can even get a poor dealer here from Dollar Bill with my guys by my side. You know we going live. All we need you to do is please like and subscribe. Boxing Bros. Peace.
You are now tuned into the Boxing Bros. I'm Caden. I'm here with my co-host.
What's going on, everybody? It's Trill.
And this is still Slippery G.
All right. Ned the TBE isn't with us today, but he'll join us again at a later time. But right now it's time for us to dive into what everyone is talking about. Conor McGregor got knocked the hell out by Dustin Poirier. Is that how you say his name? I don't know. Again, no disrespect. I don't watch MMA like that, but I did watch this fight, and this was the result. As you can see, the internet is undefeated, and they came for Conor McGregor. As you can see, he was resting on a couch with Nate Robertson.
That's the
sleepover. All right, so Trill Dollar Bill, what's your reaction to the fight? Let me know. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
Wow, Conor, it seemed like he was overlooking Kid. I guess he figured like he beat him before in the first fight, beat him in the first round, stopped him, and he figured like it was just levels. Conor was saying how he was special in his levels, and can't overlook. This is the fight game. You can't overlook nobody. Because any given Saturday, you know what I'm saying? Any given Saturday, it can happen. Conor looked like Conor. There should be no excuses. And Conor didn't give no excuses too, which I thought was dope. You know what I'm saying? He took his hat off to dude. And he said good for him. Conor will be back. Conor will be back. And it sets up a third fight, which everybody is going to want to see. Conor was doing too much. Conor was talking about coming to fight Pacquiao, and he should have just been focusing on the person in front of him. And that's what happens with so many fighters. They overlook the person that's in front of them, and then they end up getting caught. And, I think now, I guess it's safe to say that we can say, poor Conor.
He's on the list of poor athletes.
Or the poor.
In terms of what happened to him, not financially.
Not financially. What happened to him in there? Because, Conor was looking to do bigger things and go get a bigger bag, trying to face a mini Pacquiao and everything. And then, overlooking this kid, Dustin. And Dustin was focused. He was focused, and he wanted to let people know that, it was a different time. It was a different time, and he learned some things. Well, salute to Dustin, man. He did his thing. I know he's happy right now. This is his biggest win. I know he's going crazy right now. Everybody want to get in there with a Conor. You know what I'm saying? And beat a Conor McGregor. This kid, he's on top of the world right now. So shout out to him, and shout out to Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? For, making no excuses and giving props up to the young man who defeated him.
All right, G.
Yeah, it's kind of tough for me to provide my my analysis on the fight, because MMA rules are so different from boxing. You know what I mean? So like, you don't want to keep a high guard in MMA because you're afraid of the takedowns or kick to the stomach or whatever. So like, when I'm seeing like Conor's hands so low, I'm like, what are you doing? But then I'm like, this is MMA, this ain't boxing, and I think the difference between MMA and boxing is, in MMA, you could take L's and still be a superstar. Boxing is kind of different ever since the Floyd Mayweather era, but with Conor, I don't think it's like a poor Conor at all, because he's gonna bounce back, and I still think he's gonna make that Pacquiao fight or whoever, and it's still gonna be a huge event because people fell in love with Conor's personality. Like the skill set was cool, but I think it's his persona that sells tickets, and so he could take an L. He could take a couple more L's. As long as they're consistent L's, You know what I mean? So, his next fight, as long as he his next combat sport, whatever he wins, he's back in it in the UFC. Because Dana White understands this is my cash cow. This dude, he sells tickets, so they're gonna find a way to build him back and build up his brand to make sure people still want to see him fight. But I don't think that's gonna affect his I guess his star power or his negotiation power on the boxing side, because he's bringing again like people who love MMA to boxing, and so that's a lot of leverage. So yeah, I'm not gonna penalize him for that performance, man. It's whatever, Like I'm being honest, I wasn't really impressed by either gentleman, so I'm just keeping it real. But salute to both guys, salute to the winner, salute to Conor. Hopefully you get that Pacquiao fight.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel differently about the situation. I feel like he hurt his stock. I think people aren't going to believe that he can be competitive with Manny Pacquiao after seeing that fight, especially the way he lost. Like, he got knocked out throwing hands in the end. Like, Dustin was throwing them hands with him, struck him and knocked him out. So I think, like, for me, I'm like, if he could do that to you, what do you think Pacquiao is going to do to you? Like, so that's one thing. The other thing is Conor McGregor hasn't had a meaningful win in a long time. When's the last time he's won a meaningful fight? I remember him losing to Floyd. I remember him losing to Khabib. I think that's his name. That his name, Khabib. I just don't, names isn't really my thing. But I remember him losing to him. Then he just lost to Dustin. So I'm like, you can only keep losing so many times before that stick is going to just fade, where people are going to be like, and even then in the buildup, Conor didn't seem like himself. I saw him laughing with Dustin, playing around with Dustin, shaking his hand and joking and all that. And I'm like, in order for Conor to be doing this, he must feel real comfortable. Like he must be so confident he's going to beat this guy because he beat him before. And, it was almost like Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua won. Like the level of like just friendliness that I saw from this guy. And I'm like, who's this? Like, who the F is this guy? I don't know that Conor. So I think he hurt his stock, because you say that him versus Manny Pacquiao will still be a big fight. I don't see it that way. And even if you go to Floyd Mayweather's tweet where he's saying, like, if you watch a Manny Pacquiao fight with Conor McGregor, it's like my leftovers eating my leftovers. Not saying I agree with that, but it just gave people ammunition to throw even more dirt on a fight between Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. So I do think there'll be a trilogy between Dustin and McGregor, and he's going to have to make it right before he can try to go on to boxing. I mean, I think a better boxing match that probably would still get some buzz would be Conor versus Jake Paul. Maybe get Conor back in the win column. And if he loses to Jake Paul, it's really over. But I think the Manny Pacquiao talk is dead, though.
Yeah, it's definitely dead. And there's another thing that G said that I wanted to bring up, has nothing to do with Conor McGregor, but I think it is a point that we need to bring up because it comes up on this channel a lot. When we talk about losses, when it comes to boxing, you know what I'm saying, opposed to when it comes to the UFC. You know what I think? Sometimes in boxing that is true. Like, they look at it with the losses, but I also think it's how you lose in boxing. 100. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly how you lose in boxing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If you go in there and you lose in a stinker, then people are most likely not going to want to see you. But if you go in there and you put your heart on the line, you go out on your shield, or you know what I'm saying, give an valid effort, or people feel like you've been robbed or been wrong, they're going to want to see you again. And that's why I wanted to add that in there, because I don't think it's so much of if you lose, your career's over in boxing, it's how you lose.
3 examples, like you said, just to support what you said. One would be Canelo Alvarez lost to Floyd, still number 1 pound for pound, and one of the top draws, if not the top draw in the sport. Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz in the rematch, made more money than he did for the first fight, and now he's about to fight for undisputed, and no one's talking about Anthony Joshua like he's some shot-done fighter. And the other would be Jermell Charlo.
Yeah.
Lost to Tony Harrison in a close decision, came back, beat Tony Harrison, and just beat Jason Rosario. So again, like Trill said, it's not like you lose and it's over. It's how you lose and what you do after.
Exactly. Any further comments, gentlemen?
Nah.
I'll add one thing too. I agree with what Trill's saying, and also it's hard to compare UFC to boxing anyways, because in UFC these guys are fighting like some dudes are fighting like 5-6 times in a year. A lot of like star boxers only fight like twice. You might get lucky and see a guy fight 3 times in a year. So, just the scheduling is different also. So you can't hold guys to the same standard regardless. So yeah, I just wanted to end with that.
Yeah. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.